people say, I want to have 1,000 sales this month. Can you fulfill 1,000 sales? Is your business even there to do that? And if it is, like, how does that look? That's what a mentor will bring to your business. I have one. I am one. And I do think that every single business owner should have one. Hi, and welcome back to the Mindset and Marketing Podcast. I am your co-host for today, Matthew Toman.
And I am Sharon Kirkpatrick.
Here on the Mindset and Marketing Podcast, our commitment to you is to give you jargon-free information around everything mindset and everything marketing, two of the most important things that you must master to achieve everything that you set out to in life. So yeah, welcome back, and thank you for being a return listener, or if you're new to the podcast, welcome. So, how's things? How have you been getting on?
Good. I had a quite enough wee week. Do you know what I spent most of my week doing, actually? In the cinema. I say that. I went twice. But that's a lot for 1 week.
Actually, I went to cinema as well on Friday night. Yeah, I went to cinema as well.
What did you see?
I want to say it's called All of Us People or something. It's a new Paul Mescal one.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's called that, something like that. I was going to Google it, but I haven't got my phone.
Like
I've got my phone. It's called All of Us People, or People Like Us. People Like Us, actually, I think it's called.
What's it about, though?
You have to go watch it. It was really, really sad.
Oh.
To the point where it was like, I'm not going to say anything but I do think people should go and watch it. It was very good. It was really, really good. Yeah, it was very good.
Oh, okay. Is it one of those films that you go, and get life lessons from?
Yeah, it makes you look back. I think, the one thing that I can say is that I had a different experience. Yeah, you should go and have a look. I don't want to give too much away, but you should have a look. It'll make you think. It'll make you be grateful and appreciative, and it might change how you look at life. Yeah.
Do you know, now you're talking about it, I think I seen a trailer for it. Is it about two guys?
It's about two guys, but that's not really what the story's about. The guys are gay, but one of the guys, his parents had passed away when he was younger, and I couldn't imagine watching it if both of my parents weren't here.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, like I actually wouldn't have wanted to.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to know what? It's actually, I thought it was really, really good though. And I'm going to watch it again because I was so tired. I'd been out the night before, and I was up the next morning really early for that. We had a call on Friday morning. And then I'd been through my whole day, gym, working, all that stuff, and then went to Jitlada, your favorite restaurant in LA, the Thai, my favorite restaurant. And then I went after that, after it had a big feed, and didn't get out to 12. So I'd been awake since like 5, and I was just too wrecked. I was really, really so tired. I was kind of like fidgety,
So, by the way, for anyone who's been to LA and been to Gelada, I went over to see, for work with Matthew and Daniel, and they said this is the best restaurant in LA. Now, the food was amazing, but when you rock up, it looks like a shithole.
It's in a strip mall.
But it's not.
Yeah.
And then we have like this joke now, because everything was amazing, right? But we ordered like loads of different plates to share, and they all came out, and they were all very like liquid based, with like obviously meat and stuff in the middle, but everything was like a liquid. So I just joke with them all the time now that we're going to just get, water.
Daniel got something the other night. It was actually tuna. There was no water or anything in it, but it has had 2 Michelin star street foods. It's been voted the second best Thai restaurant in America, all of America. I would say it's the best. Haven't been to the other one, but it definitely is for every. I love it, but you have to wait. Like, Daniel's obviously back now. I hadn't been since on my own yet, because none of my other friends will come with me, because on occasion you have to wait outside for like an hour in the car park to get in. You have to write your name on a piece of paper and just go in.
And like loads of famous people go to it as well, right? Like it's just renowned for like
the last time we were there.
Gorgeous food.
Thing was there. She used to go out with Justin Bieber.
Selena
Gomez and her boy. You see loads of people. Right, it's Ryan Gosling's favourite restaurant as well. But there's loads. Anyway, it's really, really nice. If you're in LA, check it out. Chitlada. Yeah, so that was it. I'd done that. And here is like torrential rain at the minute. Like really, really, really bad. Like,
that's nuts.
The roads are not built for rain. They're all slidey. There's flood warnings. Even coming into my car park, there was like, I slid sideways. It's really dangerous. Like, you can't even walking. Like, you slip and slide. It's not. This place is not built for rain. And see now, like, there's flood warnings and people have had to evacuate areas.
Gee, where we're not like, ready for like hot weather. You aren't ready for. I hear that's okay for you because you're living over there, right? But imagine you'd spent like a fortune to get over to a trip in LA and you're just singing in the rain or sliding in the rain.
Well, no, yesterday, right? So another thing I done this weekend. So I had my first class at my comedy improv course.
Wow.
Which is 6 weeks classes and then a showcase. So I have to get up and do stand-up.
How did it go?
Really, really well. But obviously with dyslexia, I'm like all over the place. So I thought it started 2 to 6, but it started 3. And again, I know there was flood warnings notified to my phone, but I did not think that it was going to be as bad. I went all the way to Santa Monica, parked in the wrong car park because I couldn't find the place, got drenched through to my actual bones, like drenched through, right through. And then I realized it was an hour early. And I thought, you want to know what? I actually can't stay here for an hour. I had to drive all the way home again and get changed. Because I was just like, I'm not sitting. Because I got pneumonia before. I was like, I'm not sitting till like 7 o'clock until I get home in these clothes. So I got changed, drove back, 30 minutes late for the class, which was fine because everybody was just doing introductions. So there was only me and another person had to introduce themselves after. So it was good. It was really, really good. And then yesterday we actually all had to stand up in front of each other and do like a 4-minute, tell a story, 4 minutes. 5 minutes.
And did it have to be funny?
Sorry. Well, it's the nature of people there are going because they believe they're funny. Like they're going to get laughs. Like I don't think so I walked in and then they were like, oh, Matthew, we're just introducing everybody. So there's 5 questions. You tell us who you are, what you do, what is your inspirations in comedy, right? I can't even remember actors' names. I'm film producer. I can't remember anybody's names. What's your inspiration in comedy? Something interesting about yourself and what you want to get out of it or something like that. I ended up saying I listened to this podcast called My Therapist Ghosted Me, and I said Joanne McNally is like a stand-up comedian, and she was talking about her first show that she wrote. And I said, I thought to myself, do you want to know what? I think that would be good to sort of push yourself outside your comfort zone. So where everybody else was like Steve Martin, da-da-da. Like there was one guy said about 15 people. He just went before me as I sat down and I was like, oh, fuck. Oh my God. What have I done? I was like, what have I done? I was sitting in the class thinking, oh my God. So I had to I'm getting what I wanted out of it. I wanted pushed outside my comfort zone. And I mean, I got through into the deep end yesterday. Some people are extremely funny in the class. Like, I mean, there's one girl there and she is actually hilarious. She's a scream, but she's not trying to be. Apart from that, then I ended up we all had to get up and do like a 5-minute slot. I talked for 4 minutes and did get some laughs, and he said it actually could go onto an open mic. But other people done like a minute, 2.5 minutes, and they were really, really solidly funny. And then there's other people, it's all different. It's just scary,
I'd throw up if I had to do that. That sounds like my worst night. I wouldn't have been able to sleep the night before. I'd have been like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? What am I doing? But obviously,
I had left it so late hoping that I was going to it was going to book out. And then it did book out. And then I was absolutely raging. I was like, shit, I really, really wanted to do that. So I ended up contacting the comedian. It's like, I know your class is booked out, but I'm going to Japan, and is there any way that you could get me in? And he said, no, you have to contact this guy. So this guy, Chris, and then I done a call with him, and I was like, look, and he said, can you do the one on the 19th? And I said, no, I'm going to be out of the country, for the showcase. So he's like, okay, I come tomorrow. So this squeezed me in. There's only meant to be 10, but it's 11 of us.
You're like, yay, but no.
Well, because I'd done it all very last minute, and then even though I decided I was going to do it, but I did do it last minute,
Well done. Congrats on that, because that is That's intense. You'll be like, I'm going to have to up my game. So in like a few podcast time, you'll be like making everybody laugh and being so hilarious. And I'll be like just sitting here like a boring tube, just going, she's got nothing interesting to say. I'll get into those classes next.
I know. I don't know if anyone's going to get my humour.
Well, we'll see. To be continued.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
So what else? What are we jumping into it now, or is there anything else?
We'll jump into it. Well, I'll just tell you all what I watched in cinema because it's not as intense as Matthew's. I went to see Mean Girls, showing my age. Didn't realise it was a musical until we sat down. Wanted to cry. I like musicals,
No,
but
you don't. No, you don't.
That kind of musical.
No, you don't. Sharon does not like musicals.
One of my favourite movies is Calamity Jane.
I know, but I'm talking about Les Mis or like Wicked or Sister
They're
Act.
the ones I don't mind, but what I don't like is Mamma Mia. And this was Mamma Mia vibes.
Okay.
Like cheesy, you know.
Do you like, what do you
just
call that
breaking the
LA
song.
one?
La La Land. Loved it. It wasn't as cheap. There's just something about it. And if you're a Mean Girls fan originally, I just needed pre-warned. So, yeah, I don't know.
What was the other
I think
movie
it was
you
one of
seen?
the... Yeah, I think it was more surprise because when I sat down, I wasn't expecting a musical. And here's why. I don't watch trailers anymore because I think the trailers give away the best parts of the film.
Oh, absolutely. I
So I
don't
can't do
watch
that.
trailers at all. I never watch trailers. See, even sitting in the cinema, I'm like, I don't want to see this. You know,
I know.
I do not want to see the trailers. Like, what is the point?
But then you're going to find yourself in situations like I have where you're sitting down to a musical that you were not prepared mentally for.
So basically, yeah, what's going on in the podcast? A couple of things now which actually happening is we are able to catch up without knowing everything that's going on because we aren't speaking to each other as much. One of them being the topic of the podcast.
Yes. So the topic of the podcast is mentorship or accountability partners and how they can accelerate your results.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, no, Sharon had just told me that just before we started. And it's something that I bang on about a lot anyway, you know, having a mentor, the importance of it. And just without mentors, I don't think I'd be anywhere. I really, really don't.
Yeah.
You know, even going to that thing at the weekend, you know, or stuff like that. There's so many different things that you do get advice from mentors. Mentors come in so many different forms. They come like official mentors, unofficial mentors, paid mentors, you know, and we all have them, whether you're calling that person a mentor or not. Somebody you look up to. It could be a teacher, could be a careers advisor, could be a friend, could be a parent, could be somebody in your life. But once you sort of understand what a mentor is, which we're going to jump into now, you're going to then realize, okay, that person is a mentor. But I didn't really realize they were unofficial. And here's how they help me. I find sometimes even like authors of books are my mentors.
Because you're reading that and getting that from them, yeah.
Unofficial mentor.
I mean, this is a thing because there's obviously a difference, right, between a mentor and an accountability partner, which we'll explain. But I thought it was worth mentioning both because sometimes all you need is somebody to hold you accountable, you know. So kind of the benefits of both in terms of kind of helping you personally develop and also professionally develop too.
Yeah, it all comes down to your goals.
Yeah.
And whatever your goals are, then whether you just will need a mentor to get there or you'll need an accountability partner just to sort of guide you there and hold you accountable for getting it. Okay.
So here's a few stats to just outline why it's important, or you should look to maybe partnering up with someone if you haven't yet done that. So this one's for the businesses. 70% of businesses have reported an increase in productivity due to mentoring.
100%.
Yeah. 100% of the top Fortune 50 companies have mentoring programs in place. So it's not, you know, it's not fluke.
Oh, yeah.
There's a clear line here between like people who are putting that personal development into their team, to them, to whatever, and then seeing the results on the other end. So if it's something that you've never thought about doing before, maybe start looking at it now. And then for accountability partners, having an accountability partner increases your chance of success by 95%.
Okay.
So what is the difference? Well, in kind of the accountability partner is someone who supports you in your commitment to get a desired goal. So that doesn't necessarily have to be somebody with loads and loads of experience, and might be someone on the same level as you, but what they're doing is they're holding you accountable, and you have to check in with them about the goals that you're wanting to reach to make sure that you're doing that. Whereas a mentor is more of an experienced advisor that provides guidance and feedback. So they're probably at a more senior level, someone you look up to, and they will then help direct you in trying to map out them goals and kind of then follow them through to achieving them. So that's kind of the two differences. But it I suppose it depends on where someone's at. You know, they may not, because like you said, you can get these services for free sometimes, or people charge an hourly rate, or it's someone you know, or it could be thousands, you know, or it could be somebody that wants to do it just because they believe in you or whatever it is. So that's why just kind of looking at both of them, because maybe you're not really aware yet of who could be your mentor, and we'll talk through how you can maybe start doing that. But as a starting point, everyone out there can have an accountability partner. You know, there's somebody in your network that you know right now that can hold you accountable to the goals that you're trying to achieve.
If you're going to go to a gym, then you can have an accountability partner that's going to go with you, going to make sure that you're going to go hold you accountable to it. That could be a personal trainer. You know, that could also be their kind of like mentor / accountability partner, because one, they've got way more experience than you, but two, they're also going to say, you know, you have to turn up at this time and be here and put this work in, and here's what I want you to do by the next time we see each other. With mentors, whenever I was saying about like having goals, having it all based around your goals, you really want someone who has either been to where you want to go, or has worked with people, has already brought people to where you want to go. That is really, really important. And whenever it comes to like business, it doesn't have to be always within the same niche. So if you're in marketing, your mentor doesn't have to be in marketing. If you're in fitness, it doesn't have to be in fitness. He just has to have built successful businesses, or it actually, whatever your goals is, could be hiring people, could be getting your HR to mentorship, could be anything like that. It just, you have to clearly know exactly where it is you want to go. And then some of the top people that you would meet with, or top people that you would have the opportunity to sit down with, maybe you'll only get like 45 minutes with them. If you're lucky, or 20 minutes with them having a coffee. You know, so it's just like that is something that, you know, understand that them giving you that is a really, really, really big thing, and you should be really grateful. Some people might think, oh, only got a coffee. I thought you were going to like have a look at my business inside and stuff, where you got to make sure the questions you're asking in those 20 minutes are really important and going to bring your business forward.
And it makes sense, right? Because even if you think about just holding yourself accountable. So for me, every day in work, you know, I write a list down, and then I'll speak to the clients and I'll prioritize things. But I always then give the clients a deadline, you know, as to when I'm going to get back to them. So I'll be like, I'll come back to you by X, Y, Z, to make sure you stay on track and to make sure you meet, you know, they're holding me accountable because I'm telling them that date, and then I have to kind of go back to them. So you can also put things into, you know, your day or your life to try and hold yourself accountable as well. Tell someone something, and then that's sometimes enough to like, you know, even like you mentioned the gym, you know, I'll never go to the gym unless somebody says to me, right, let's go, we're going to the gym. Yeah. And then I'll go, because I won't want to let them down, you know, and it's not just about me anymore, and I can't just make an excuse and get out of it. You know, it's harder when someone else is involved. So say it out loud, even if it's to yourself to start, until you find somebody, because I think it does. That's why, you know, those stats are so high in terms of the benefits or the results of getting mentoring or accountability, because I think that's a big part of it, you know. And for anyone who is maybe wondering, you know, well, how do you know if you need like a mentor, or how do you know if I need an accountability partner? There's some signs that you can kind of look for yourself, you know, to kind of try and get a grasp of that. Now, there's several different things to kind of look out for, but some of the ones are like maybe if you're feeling you don't really feel confident in kind of what you're doing or where you're going, or maybe you've kind of feel like you've plateaued in something, you can't really take it any further, or you're going around in circles. Yeah.
Really frustrated.
Or frustration.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe don't actually even understand you don't have clear goals, so you don't know what.
A lot of people, whenever they come to me, if I'm mentoring them, what they come to me first and says like, I don't understand why my business isn't successful or isn't doing what it should be doing. And I'm like, okay, no worries. Like, usually whenever you sit down with a mentor, they will ask you a series of questions like, you know, what has your previous months been doing? What has your marketing been? What has your spend been? Let's have a look at your website. Let's have a look at all these different things. And they will do like a lot of work. If it's a paid mentor to sit down, they will go through and do almost like an audit on like your business, your service, you know, your social media. Like they'll look through all that stuff. And sometimes with people looking from the outside in, they see things that you're never going to see. See things that it's like you're never ever going to see it. The stuff that they see, because you're so far in it and you're dealing with, you know, paying the bills, paying suppliers, you know, what are we doing with our social media, all those different things. You're actually in it at that moment. What a mentor really should be doing, is a paid mentor that you go through, is trying to get you out of your business and into that bird's eye view with them. So they're saying, okay, you're doing brilliant so far. You've brought this business so far, but you do need help right now. You're working in your business instead of on your business. So they will try to like bring you out of the business where you have more time to look at it from a bird's eye view, and then say, okay, here's what it is we need to do. They'll do like a full audit of exactly where it is. And then in every single business, in my experience, it's exactly the same. There's one line of stuff that you have to go through: your product, your service, your website, your social media, your marketing, your systems in place, your customer service, all of that stuff, your returns, how you deal with everything. It's the same all the way through. I have personally got like my own formula that I've worked out in my head that I just go through with every one, just a checklist. And what you identify in that first meeting with them is maybe 2 to 3 to 4 of those parts broken. And it's almost like an aha moment whenever you're sitting down with you. So if you're a business owner and you are frustrated, you're not that far away, because I can guarantee you right now the product and service that you're providing is going to be sold somewhere else at a high volume. It's going to be sold somewhere else to a lot of people at a high volume that have got their systems in place, they've got their postage and packaging or their service providers in place, where they've got all of the different things that you don't even realize right now that you're missing. That, you know, people say, I want to have 1,000 sales this month. Can you fulfill 1,000 sales? Is your business even there to do that? And if it is, like, how does that look? You know, so that's what a mentor will bring to your business. And I have one. I am one. And I do think that every single business owner should have one. It's not even up for negotiation for me. It's like, you need to have mentors and you need to be honest with them. I found it really, really hard to be honest with my mentors at the start.
I like, you know, a lot of clients that, you know, we're trying to help increase and grow their online presence. One of the major things is what we're talking about now, and is that although they know what they want, like they don't have clear goals. Mm-hmm. You know, they're like you say, I want 100 more sales, or I want X amount more money, or I want a new team member, or I want to develop this product and I don't know how, you know, but they have like an idea, but they don't have that's a goal, that's an idea, and that needs to be kind of put into like a measurable goal, you know, so you figure out what that goal is and you work backwards. And I know, like, getting into, like, there's this thing, if you Google it, called SMART objectives, and that will ensure that the goal is basically able to be broken down, and you can then figure out the steps needed for each of those each of the points needed to reach that goal. So a lot of the time people will think they have a goal because in the back of their head somewhere that's there in their mind, but they haven't structured the goal right to get the steps needed to reach that goal. So then it always just sits there and feels like a failure because they're not moving towards it. They're still in the same place with the same goal a year later, you know, whereas when you have someone with experience that, you know, is used to creating these pathways to achieving those goals, and they're also there to give you their experience, you know, and they're there to kind of outline what they've done that's worked successfully, you can always take more from that, and then they'll guide you through to achieving that goal without just thinking that it's always a goal that you're not really aware of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and just jumping back into, like, whenever I say I wasn't honest with my mentors, I was probably thinking because I was a tiny bit ashamed at the time. Do you know what I mean? Because I thought my business looks so much better on the outside. This is back whenever I was just doing film and didn't have like a product. So you would have got a really big job, like a TV ad or something. But then you would have been doing that job and you wouldn't have had someone out on sales bringing in more work, you know, and then you would have finished that job and then I would have had to go back to sales. But all the money I'd made was then filtering out over the next few months. And, you know, it was just real. I was chasing my tail all the time and I didn't know about systems and having the right people working for me and all those things. But until I was really able to be honest with myself and said, do you want to know what? My business has got so much potential. Yes, it looks brilliant online. My business looked way better online whenever I was doing less business, you know, for some reason. It's just like one of those things where you're busy online, but you're not busy as busy as much in the flesh, which we will be changing. But what I was, whenever I did, first of all, sit down with one of my mentors, I flew to London. He was going to London. This is before, whenever I had Bankhouse Productions transitioning into Bankhouse Media, and I got on the phone with him and he said, what are you doing with your business? And I said, I have Feature Film School, I have Bankhouse Productions, I have this idea, this idea, this idea, this idea. And he was like, okay, Matthew, you've got too much going on. He said, I'm going to be in London this weekend. He was coming from LA and he said, can you come and see me? And I said, yeah, no worries, 100%. He said, okay, let's meet on Friday. Now, this was my first time that I realized that meeting on Friday was 45 minutes. Like, I just thought we were meeting on, because I knew him and he'd been in one of my movies and we had a relationship. I just thought that we were going to be sitting down and like getting into the nuts and bolts of it and seeing what's going on. That 1 hour, 45 minutes to 1 hour that I spent with him was probably the most productive 1 hour that I've ever spent with anybody in my entire life. We set up the foundations for Bankhouse Media, called it Bankhouse Media. Even from my first call with him questioning me, the series of questions that he wanted me to gather, and as answering them, I already had the wheels turning. And on the way home from that, I was in the airport, and one of my clients who I had just done a TV commercial for rang me and said, Matthew, do you do social media? And I said, yeah, I do. And we never had done before. Said, okay, can you come in and see us next week? And we signed our biggest contract. It's our first contract in Bankhouse Media, and it was a really, really big one. It's again a life-changing contract actually at that time. And that was all just because of like me having a mentor. I had all the answers. Do you know what I mean? You have all the answers. Like, the business owner has the answers. Yeah. But it's just getting the right person that can ask you the right questions that's going to pull you out of them. That's going to pull those, you know, going to pull the stuff that's in your side you and clarify it for you. And then you can say, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. Because once it starts to land, you know, the mentor can almost sit back and just like manage, because you do so much of the work yourself, you know?
Yeah. And I think as well, like, you know, one of the things with kind of mentorship is, you know, some people might see it as like, oh, I don't really want to ask for help. You know, I've got this, you know, nobody knows my business better than me. And of course, you know, nobody knows your business better than you, but that's not what it's about. You know, it's about figuring out the things that you don't know about, that's kind of out the external factors of your business, that then and practices that then can then guide you to, you know, different levels of growth that you've never experienced before because you haven't done it, you know. And sometimes people maybe start a business, and I'd say especially for like entrepreneurs and like small to medium businesses, I would say a lot of the time they'd feel quite lonely in what they're doing, you know, and maybe then wouldn't have that confidence to drive forward. And not just that, they've probably got several different hats on because they have to do several different things.
Oh, they
in the
100%
business.
they do. Yeah. And it's fear. It's fear of it like not working out. It's fear of it like, oh God, I could lose my business. And then also their ego takes a bit of a bash because they're like, I should know this, but I don't, and I have to go ask someone. And the ego can hold back and really, really destroy a business, you know, especially if, you know, you're trying to keep it up. But I find that just like being totally honest, and people that are honest with me, so my most successful clients that work with me that are doing a hell of a lot of money a month are honest to the point where, wow, like I can't believe how honest you are about this. And that's what I found was being the biggest strength with me, was just like being completely and utterly honest. My mentor's called Neil, and I haven't seen him in a couple of years, but I booked in with him next week. So I'm seeing him, he's back in LA, and I can't wait to see him and actually have him now look at my business again at this level and say, now we have set new goals. This is what we want to achieve in America. This is how I want to turn this into like a top lead generation company in the world. Do you know what I mean? And then he will then give me that 45 minutes again, or an hour, and then I'll go off for another like year and a half to 2 years and do it with him just checking in and managing, you know.
I know. Another thing is as well, you know, you end up having like, sometimes you might feel demotivated because, you know, you're working in the business, there's a lot going on, or you're on your own trying to figure it all out. And it's not, you know, you're just kind of doing the daily things, and you can get frustrated, and it's hard to keep the motivation up to push forward because there's already still so much to do. And that's where a mentor will come in, you know, and help keep you motivated, to help keep you on track, because you never, you know, it's very hard to motivate yourself, you know, whenever you've got all of these things going on. And sometimes just having somebody there to kind of keep pushing you up and, you know, celebrating the successes or the plans or the thoughts that you have also helps with your confidence, you know, and helps keep you motivated to reach those goals, rather than on your own feeling like, you know, you've nowhere to go and it's all on you. It's like anything in life. If you talk to somebody, it helps. If you don't feel alone, it helps. You know, it's the same concepts.
And the thing about it is with a mentor, it's like, it ends up bringing you into a position that what you first thought about your business whenever you started out was true. It is working. And see, once you learn this stuff, once the part that your funnel that's broken, or the part that your systems are broken, or the part that's not happening, you end up just being like, it's just so much better, you know?
Anytime we speak to clients, you know, in terms of their marketing and their business, we're always kind of, you know, trying to mentor them through all that, because in any project that we do, you know, it's very consultative, and, you know, so there's a bit of that comes into it. But most times, like you had mentioned earlier about that bird's eye view, most business owners that we would come across aren't able to see that because they're not up there, you know, they're on the ground working on everything. And I just think then the difference after you know, after a 15-minute call, you know, is night and day. And then you've got direction and you kind of know where you need to go. And that's why then those stats at the start are so, you know, they speak for themselves. The top companies in the world are using mentors, you know, and there's a reason for that.
So I went to a therapy session once after a very traumatic experience, but I got over it myself fast. It wasn't traumatic, it was a very funny thing, but I was like, I need to go and speak to somebody about this. And I went, and it was very much like, okay, so how does that make you feel? You know, it's very much like they can't tell you what to do. They have to like ask you, how does that make you feel? And you have to come to terms with it yourself. For me, it was just like, this is too long, too slow. Where I love mentorship, and I love having mentors, because they kind of like tell me what's wrong. You know, they're telling me, here's what I believe is wrong. Where I'm like, I would just love a therapist to be like, where they can't do that anyway. There's not. I don't think there's anything wrong. I think you work it out. I think your problems aren't fixed in your past. I think they're fixed in your future, and that's why I always think that, like, whenever I'm working with a mentor, they're able to tell me what's going on, and I'm able to.
Well, this is a big.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, because it is a big difference, because with mentors, they should be, if they're experienced, giving you constructive feedback, like you touched on earlier, feedback, you know, that you can then action.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like a lot of people might relate it to the fact of if they've ever been to therapy and they've been to something and they've been like, no, that was just like so long and drawn out, where it's like, no, in the first 15 minutes, as Sharon said, you actually get clarity. And you're like, okay, I think I can move forward from here, you know?
They know the questions that they need to ask, like you, in order to figure out what direction you should be going. And then whenever they figure out, it'll probably start with what are your goals, and then they'll ask questions around what you've done so far and explore what you haven't done. And then they'll be able to give you like a constructive roadmap, to then start working towards those goals.
Yeah.
That's what a good mentor will be doing. And that's why it's so beneficial, even you for just 45 minutes, because, they know what they're doing and you get actions after that that's going to help improve.
And then for accountability partners, always have an accountability partner, and always be honest to your accountability partner. If you didn't go to the gym, just say you didn't go. I have several accountability partners. Sharon is one of them. Sharon's one that I lie to, though. That's the only thing I'll say. Yep, got that done. I have to get off the phone and be like, fuck. Daniel is definitely one, and I think I'm accountability partner for a lot of people, which is very easy for me. Being accountability, the person holding somebody else accountable, it's quite easy. If it's your friends or family, it's just like, hey, how'd you get on in the gym today? Or, hey, did you get that task done? I find that no matter whether you have an accountability partner or not, make lists. Lists are a version of an accountability partner, in my opinion. I make a list and I have to do everything on it. Since I've moved over to the iPad, though, I miss writing things down. Like everybody yesterday was sitting with a flipping notepad and paper. I think I don't even know if I could write.
I know, you'd start to try and use it in your hand to be messed up. I miss the pen and paper, I really do. Now, it is not, I love the fact of notes you can search through quite quickly on things, but I think you're right. In terms of an accountability, if you're listening to this right now, there's definitely something that you want to do or have achieved personally or professionally. And if after this podcast, you phone a friend or a family member and tell them what you want, and that in order to do it, you have to do this, which you're going to do on this day, you're going to have, jumped so much further than you have already by just trying to do it on your own. Matthew said you can write a list. Some people can't, because I know if I write a list, I can hold myself accountable. I send everything to you at the end of the day. I'm holding myself accountable for what I've done, in the company, and so I can work like that. But if you can't, just pick up the phone and tell somebody. And
even if you were into something, pick a topic, I don't know, if you were training, if you're in school and you're training and you have to finish a thesis or something like that, maybe partner up as an accountability partner with one of your friends who's also doing a thesis, or try to keep people in the same, that understand a bit of the challenges that you're going to face about not getting it done. How many words have you got done? I have to write a story, 250 words. I don't know how even long that is, for my class for next week, and I have to go see a show, a stand-up show. We get free and bring a friend for free as well. And the school that I'm going to has its own theatre, and it has stand-up on every night and open mic. So I'm going to say to Daniel today, hey, will you make sure that I book something on this? Because he's back now. I might say to my friend or lad, I'll be like, hey, do you want to come to a show? Or Biddy, hey, come on, let's go to a show. So I'm going to get other people involved to make sure that I'm definitely on the right path, And
even if it's something this goes out on a Friday. So if you're listening on a Friday and you're going, I can't cope with another weekend of drinking and then hangovers. So, get a friend to buddy up with, and you both make a plan. We're not doing the drinks this weekend. We're not doing that. Both can stick to it. You're both on that. You can do something else instead. It just makes things a wee bit easier, because again, you just don't feel like you're on your own with it.
Some weekends that I didn't want to drink whenever I was younger, I used to meet my friend Jojo. I said, come into my house this weekend and we'll get some food and we'll watch a movie. We'll not have a drink. But I lived in Dublin city centre. You looked outside my window and you seen Christchurch. Do you know? It was in the middle of it. And always by 11:45 or something, we were in Mother or one of the bar clubs and just, hammered.
Well, actually, that's a good point, right? If your accountability partner does not hold you accountable, you need a new accountability partner.
I think when it came to drink, I was the rogue there, though. Jojo was always great. We used to go out and have an absolute ball. I met her in Australia, and we used to have such good fun for, oh my God, like the best memories. And then I stopped drinking, and then it's like, oh, you know, it's weird. You don't see anybody again. It's weird.
No, it's an adjustment period, but look how much you grew.
Oh yeah, like I'm happy enough, you know what I mean? I'm happy, like, keeping moving forward, you know. I would love one night out though on it. I would love one night out on it, but sure, that's what it is, you know.
When next big birthday. I don't know. I'd be so scared. I would all be sitting on tender hooks going.
Drink again. No way, definitely
What?
not.
No, I know. I'd
But
be like, oh no.
is that?
I just wanted to say, you know, we kind of touched on it already, but just to say, you know, for anybody who is thinking, particularly about, you know, looking for a mentor, just in kind of how to go about doing that, is just maybe think about who it is that you look up to, you know, in most likely the area that you need help in. So not necessarily, like Matthew said, it doesn't have to be the industry you're in, but in the area that you need help in. So if it's recruitment, you know, someone like that, or whoever it might be, and then kind of do your research before you approach them, you know, and just make sure that they have kind of the experience there. And like, do they look like they are not just successful, but also happy doing what they're doing? You know, because that feeds into obviously how you're going to be, you know, supported.
One of the main reasons why Anil was so important for me is like, because he is like, happiness. He's just so, he's like a girl. He's just chilled. Like, he's actually got so much happiness in his life. I look at some mentors and they're like, go, like da 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 da, and I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I'm never ever going to listen. You're never going to get through to me. I'm going to try to do it for a week and a half or 2 weeks, and then I'm going to burn out. I'm not going to be able to do it. I personally give the approach where it's just very chilled. It's all fixable. Let's start at the start, right? And that's what I like whenever I'm working with somebody.
You definitely need to find somebody who's on, you know, kind of your wavelength in terms of your, just how you approach life and choices and things like that. Not just in terms of, like you say, you know, that hard ass approach from a mentor might work for somebody else, you know, but for you'd be kind of, I think your defense mechanisms come up and you'd end up with a slap.
My overarching goal is like happiness, you know. Does having to listen to that type of thing, you know, bring me closer to happiness or further away? It's going to bring me further away. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you should be happy in your business. You should be happy in your work. I haven't had the Monday blues in over 10 years, you know, at all. I haven't ever thought, should I be doing something else? I've always just thought, we just haven't got the codes right. I always think like your business should be like an ATM. Once your PIN number's right, money comes out. You know, and if you haven't got the codes right, then money's not going to come out. You just have to keep working through your strategy. See if I can stop working in my business, start working on it. And then once you get it right, then you just go flying through from there. Yeah.
And if you're reaching out, because like Matthew said, a lot of the time it will just be a 45-minute session, you know, and it could be once every month, or it could be a one-off. It depends on, you know, where you're at or what you need. But if you're reaching out to somebody, you know, just if you, once you've kind of done all of those checks to make sure that they're a right fit with you, you know, keep it short and sweet. These people are busy as well. You know, just put in the email just a wee bit about why you think they would be great to work with, and reference obviously all the amazing work that they've done, and then just a brief outline on the support that you need. If it's a paid for mentor, then the chances are that's fine if you're prepared to pay for it. But for people who are, maybe you're looking to get mentorship off them for free, some people are going to help you. Few and far between, but you'll need to send those emails, you know, and don't be feeling let down by the fact that you haven't maybe got a reply, because, you know, it is worth it, you know, to find somebody who's able to help you.
Yeah, it'd be great. And anybody wants any advice, reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. And now that I'm over in the States, I've got more time on my hands, because the office closes in, like, it just closed 5 minutes ago. It's 9:05, and I've got the rest of the day to do work. So if anybody wants any help, like, give me a shout as well. Please do reach out to me. Anything at all. I'm not talking about charity. I'm talking about like a 15 to 30 minute chat about where you're at, And if I can lend any advice, I'm really happy to.
Yeah. So just to summarize, personal development or professional development, get an accountability partner or a mentor, preferably a mentor, but start with an accountability partner if you maybe don't have the funds or don't have the know-how yet, and you will see growth in your personal life and in your business.
Brilliant. So it was great chatting to you, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.